integrity over everything. Service before self. Excellence everywhere. You get to choose what you're going to be an overbeliever in. All right, here we go. Got 2 words for you today. 2 words, here we go. In it. Listen to me. What wakes me up every single morning, what gets me going, the reason I get fired up and passionate about what we're doing through these videos and through 2 words is because I believe with all of my heart that tomorrow's leaders are built in today's locker rooms. That you are the ones, you are the next generation of doctors and lawyers, politicians, of business people, of nurses, of coaches, of teachers. You are the ones who will go and will lead those around you. And I believe that because you lead your peers every single day. That as an athlete, you have an influence in your community. You have an influence in your school that no one else has. Our culture values and lifts up athletes unlike any other demographic in our communities. You as an athlete are a leader. There is no question about that. You are the leaders of tomorrow and you are the leaders of today in your schools. The question is, are you a leader worth following? Are you a leader worth following? How are you leading your peers? How are you leading your teammates? Are you leading them to become the very best of themselves? Or are you leading to get the very best for yourself? You see, how you answer that question will determine everything about the impact that you make in your school, in your community, and ultimately in the world. And I want to challenge you today. My friend Big John Earl says the very best leaders are in it, not above it. And what he means when he says that is the very best leaders, the ones who make the biggest impact, are not above going beyond what has to be done, are above going beyond the call of duty. They're not above serving and sacrificing and challenging themselves for a greater good, but instead they are willing to get right in it, right in the mix of it, in the thick of it. They don't want to stay on the outside and simply talk about it. They don't want to get on the edge and look like they're doing something, but not actually be doing anything. Instead, they want to be right in the mix, willing to serve and to sacrifice. They are willing to get in the mix and do the things that no one else are willing to do. And friends, I'm going to tell you this. When you're willing to get in it for your friends, when you're willing to get in it for your teammates, when you're willing to get in it for your community, then you are qualified to be able to make an impact that no one else will make. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you wanna be a leader worth following, if you wanna get in there and you wanna make an impact in your community, you've gotta understand that it is gonna require more of you than it does of other people. That if you wanna be a leader worth following, a leader that is in it, not above it, that you're gonna have to have some conversations that other people don't have to have. That you're gonna have some conversations with your teammates when all of a sudden you find yourself a group of your teammates are talking about someone else on the team, where they find themselves complaining or moaning or bickering about something that's going on in the locker room. I'm gonna tell you, if you find yourself in a situation where you're talking about things 2-3 times behind somebody's back, the 4th time, if you wanna be a leader that's in it, you gotta take that topic directly to the person you're talking about. Because talking about something behind someone's back doesn't change a single thing. All that does is mix up this person's opinions and that person's thought, and all it does is make a breeding ground for jealousy, for bitterness, and for confusion to grow. But if you want to be a leader that's in it, what you're going to do is say, hey, we can't talk about this behind their back anymore. If we want something to change, we got to go to this person directly. And when they do, you ask questions, clarifying questions. To say, hey, this is what we're seeing. Is this what you mean? Hey, when you did this, this was the impact that it had on the rest of us. Is that what you intended to have happen? You see, that's what a leader does. A leader gets in it and they have a conversation that other people aren't willing to have. They make choices that other people aren't willing to make. They choose the harder right over the easier wrong. You see, we live in a world where people would much rather have a title of leader, but walk the easy path. They would like to have the credentialed title, but they don't want to do the serious work of going down the harder right versus the easier wrong. But as a leader who is in it, as a leader who is a leader worth following, you choose the harder right over the easier wrong. My friend Colonel Craig Flowers, he says, when in doubt, choose discipline. When in doubt, choose the harder thing. When in doubt, choose to say no to what you want today so you can reach what you want tomorrow. And the very best leaders, the ones who are in it, they're the ones that choose to go, yep, I'm going to do the harder work today. I'm not going to compromise my character. I'm not going to compromise my work ethic. I'm not going to compromise because it's easier today. They choose to do the harder work. You see, the leaders that are worth following, the ones who are in it, they're the leaders that are willing to pay a higher cost than other people. Because as leaders, we have to make choices that other people don't have to make. We have to sacrifice more than other people have to sacrifice, but we are willing to do it. Why? Because we know that the success of the we is more important than the success of the me. The leaders that are above it, they'll choose to make the sacrifices only if and when it benefits them. They don't worry about the team, they worry about themselves. And I want to challenge you today. If you want to be a leader that is in it, that is worth following, you got to be willing to have the conversations that no one else will have. You got to be willing to make the choices that no one else will make. And you got to be willing to spend and pay a cost that no one else will. But friends, if you do, if you are willing to make those choices, I promise you what will happen is that you will become a leader worth following. People will look at you and go, yep, where you go, I will follow. Friends, there is no question. You are a leader. The question is, what kind of leader are you? If you've been elected captain on your team, are you in it? Are you in the mix? Are you willing to do what no one else is willing to do so that your team can achieve what your team has never achieved? Or are you above it? Are you above the hard work? Are you above the sacrifice? And you're simply in this for me, myself, and I. And as captains, you have an important question to answer. You have to answer, am I in it or above it? But every single one of you also have to answer that question, because your community sees you as an athlete the way that you as an athlete see your captains. They see you as a leader. In your community and in your school, your administration, your community members, they see you as the next generation of leaders. So you have to answer the question, are you above it or are you in it? Are you simply on the outside looking in, trying to take all the glory having done none of the work? Are you on the very edge seeing just how hard of a work it is to be a leader and going, man, I want the title, but I don't want the work? Or are you in it? Are you all in doing the work daily, having the conversations, making the choices, paying the price so that you can make an impact that otherwise would never be possible? Friends, you want to find success in sports, in the game of life. It's not complicated. It's as simple as two words. You got to be in it. Let's have a good one today.